represented.
I am the danger. I am the one who knocks.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to MaffmanJones movie reviews, except this isn't a movie, on the contrary. This is actually a television show, a very captivating one. We are currently at the episode before the finale of one of the best shows on television in history, Breaking Bad. This episode, like its successor next week, its finale, was extended. It was 75 minutes long, including commercials, and, well, it wasn't as crazy as last week. Obviously it wasn't as impactful in terms of stuff going on, but there's a lot going on in this show right now, and a lot of things were brought back, a lot of things came back to light, things from previous seasons, and stuff is building up to this finale, which will hopefully be an incredible one. But let's get into it. So Walter White was picked up by the mysterious van from the last episode, and now he's with Saul in this confinement, and they're discussing what's going on here. Saul's breaking down the facts for Walt, but Walt won't have it. He wants to do what he wants, and he still wants to be a devoted family man. And the exact details is that just basically that Saul is telling Walt that he can't go back to New Mexico. He has to stay away. Walt doesn't want that, but in the end he does do that, and he goes with this mysterious man with the mysterious van to New Hampshire in this cold cabin in a cold, vast land. And every month the man will visit him and bring him back supplies, food, whatnot, what have you, and that's basically it. And that basically explains how Walt gets his beard and his hair, because he has no, resources to, stay clean. That continues, obviously, but I'm going to go back and continue with another story going on with Todd, Jesse, and the neo-Nazis. Now, the neo-Nazis broke into Hank's and Maria's home, and they got the tape that they recorded from Jesse, where Jesse reveals everything, and they make fun of how Jesse's a whiny bitch, so they can go fuck themselves for that, because Jesse is the shit. But anyway, Jesse's trying to escape, and he fails on multiple occasions, but then finally he attempts to get out, and with the core muscle strength that he has, he does, but he gets caught as he's trying to jump the fence. And for doing this, his punishment from the neo-Nazis and scumbag Ginger Todd, the scumbags that they all are, they let him watch as Todd murders Andrea, his beloved, with a silencer suppressor, whatever it was. Oh my god. Like, damn. But they haven't found Brock yet. Not yet, though. Hopefully they never find him, but, I mean, you never know with this show. They might kill Brock, too. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Jesse just can't catch a damn break. Just all this shit he's going through right now in these past few episodes, or for this whole series, it's just been a downward spiral for him. Nothing really uplifting has happened for him. Everything is just terrible, and his emotional state just keeps on getting punched down to the ground. He cannot get up. It's like Apollo Creed and Ivan Drago. Ivan Drago would not let Apollo Creed have that victory, and Apollo had no chance. Todd also goes on an unofficially booked date with Lydia, and he informs her that they have crystal meth, and it's 92% quality, and the Heisenberg product is back in business. Now back to the Walt family. Aside from Walt, there are legal issues being withdrawn, but as Walt's being confined to this little cabin in the middle of nowhere, when this guy comes back, he pays him $10,000 to stay with him for a couple more hours. Now that's crazy, but I would take it too. And Walt doesn't want it anymore. He doesn't want to stay in this cabin anymore. So he gets his signature hat, he leaves the cabin, and he gets 100 G's to basically set to his family by mail. FedEx. I personally stay with UPS, but shipping is very expensive these days, Walt goes to a bar and calls up his son, disguising as Marie. I don't know how he got that through. And he's at school, though. He was in a chemistry class. What do you know? Throwback. And he gets on the phone with his father, and he stays on the phone. And Walt, basically tries to plead to his son that he's sending him $100,000, and he wants them to keep it, but they can't tell anybody. Obviously, he's going through this whole thing. He's very emotionally wrecked. And I thought for some reason Walt Jr. would be okay with this, but nope, this show's just getting more depressing by the second, and Walt Jr. basically goes on a little spree, and he starts yelling in front of everybody in the school about how he killed Uncle Hank, how it's all his fault, and he goes crazy, and he basically tells his own father, blood and everything, to just go die. Now that's cold. Following these traumatizing words from his own son, I can't even imagine how that would feel, because, Walt is a evil person, very despicable, but he has heart still. And Walter White is still in there. He wasn't dead. He was never dead. Immediately after this phone call, he calls up the DEA in New Mexico, Albuquerque, and he basically tells the DEA who he is and where he is. So the cops come. But before the 5-0 arrives, he's sitting at a bar drinking whiskey, getting drunk and wasted, and he's watching TV. And the bartender is changing the channels, but Walter notices something. He notices a couple who you may recognize if you watch the show from seasons 1 and 2. The little company that him and this man found called Gray Matter, which Walter basically created on his own, and this other scumbag took everything from him. He stole everything from Walter White. The interviewer and the couple are basically discussing Walter White, aka Heisenberg, on national television and discussing how his face is just ruining everything. And basically the former partner of Walter White, says how Walter White had nothing to do with the actual product or the quality that is in Gray Matter Industries or whatever it's called, I forgot. He just says all that he had was the name. And this obviously angers Walt very much, and I wouldn't be surprised now if he uses the ricin on the couple. Not the neo-Nazis, not Jesse, not any of his family members, but the couple. So back to the 5-0 showing up. The 5-0 shows up and they have armory and they're ready to take out Walt if he's not willing to comply. And it's really, really awesome. The theme song music kicks in and the camera is panning around and it pans to the bar and it pans to a almost empty glass of alcohol, and Walter White is not there. He left the bar, obviously going back to New Mexico to finish what he started. And that's where the beginning of season 5 comes in, where he's sitting there with the, the bacon and the shit, eating breakfast at the diner. And it was a really, really awesome sequence to finish out the second to last episode of Breaking Bad. This episode wasn't as eventful as the last episode. The last episode was one of the most eventful episodes in the series, so that's speaking volumes. But this episode had a lot of moments that just made me, the moment with Andrea being killed made me go, oh! And, everything's being set up in grand fashion. What lies ahead for the last hour of Breaking Bad, or should I say 75 minutes, including commercial breaks, including Low Winter Sun and Hell on Wheels? Fucking who cares about Low Winter Sun? Will Walter White go on an ultimate Scarface Tony Montana blaze of glory and just kill the neo-Nazis, use the ricin on the couple who took Gray Matter from him? And, maybe, who will die? Who will die? Will Walter White die in this blaze of glory? Will he survive somehow and have to live with the torture of what happened through the last 5 years? Year of his life, but in show-wise, it's been 5 years. What the hell's gonna happen, man? I'm not ready for this show to end. I'm really not ready for it. It's gonna suck. God damn it. The show's been around for over 5 years, but it's become and transformed into a cultural phenomenon in less than a couple years. It's just, man, it's so impressive what's going on with the show. And Vince Gilligan, everybody behind the show, seriously, I don't know. I'm at a loss for words. What do you think is going to happen in next week's finale? Do you think it'll end in a happy state? Anybody? Or an emotionally saddening state, which will put us all in depression, chronic depression, for months and months and months to come. I'm John Maffio, aka MaffmanJones, and I'll be back one more time next week to discuss the last episode of Breaking Bad ever. See you next time.